Welcome to today's Explainer. We're putting on our managerial hats to deconstruct what I can only describe as pure, unadulterated chaos on the pitch. The 2026 World Cup opening match between Mexico and South Africa literally had it all. 2 goals, a mountain of drama, and a disciplinary meltdown that completely rewrote the record books. You know, if you thought opening games were usually these cautious, cagey affairs where teams just kind of feel each other out, well, Mexico and South Africa took that tactical playbook and threw it completely out the window.
Okay, let's dive into this because the entire tactical narrative of this match actually revolves around this single stunning number, 3. In 90 minutes of football, the referee was forced to reach into his back pocket and pull out a straight red card 3 separate times. Now, when we're analyzing a match at this elite level, just one single red card completely alters a team's shape, right? It changes their pressing triggers, their defensive block. But 3 red cards? That fundamentally breaks the entire structure of the game.
And just to anchor this in reality, this is the very first time in the incredibly long, storied history of the World Cup that an opening match has seen 3 red cards. History was made on day 1. We aren't just talking about a messy game here. We are looking at an unprecedented breakdown in discipline and tactical composure on literally the world's biggest stage. So how did we get here? How did a highly anticipated opener devolve into such a chaotic spectacle? Let's rewind the clock and look at exactly how the whole shebang unraveled.
So, moving into Section 1, early press and fatal turnovers, the 9th minute collapse.
When analyzing tactics, we always look at how teams manage those opening, super nervous moments. And South Africa unfortunately failed their very first structural test. Right at the 9-minute mark, you see the anatomy of a defender's absolute nightmare. Deep in his own defensive third, literally right near his own goal, Sithole loses possession. Mexico triggers their high press flawlessly. Quiñones steals the ball, and boom, just like that, Mexico scores the very first goal of the 2026 World Cup. From a tactical standpoint, conceding that deep from your own turnover is just devastating. And you know, Sithole's night only got worse. Fast forward to the second half. A Mexican player is on a breakaway, completely isolated, running alone toward the goal. Sithole, caught totally out of position, makes this panicked, desperate tackle from behind to bring him down. The result? A straight red card for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, or DOGSO. A single player's cascading tactical errors left his team a man down and desperately chasing the game.
Next up is Section 2, the heart of the match, Raul Jimenez's redemption.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark, beautiful contrast it shows. Amidst all the structural breakdowns and aggressive tackles we've been talking about, football always provides us with these incredible human narratives. We really need to step back from the tactical board for a second to appreciate the sheer emotional weight of Mexico's second goal, which arrived in the 67th minute. In 2020, Raul Jimenez suffered a horrific skull fracture. At that time, the widespread consensus among pundits and fans alike was that his career was prematurely, tragically over. Fast forward to 2026. Jimenez is 35 years old. He played in both the 2014 and 2018 World Cups, but incredibly, he had never scored a goal in the tournament. Until the 67th minute of this match. A cross comes in, Jimenez rises up, connects with a perfect header, and makes it 2-0. His very first World Cup goal, achieved at 35, playing right in his home country. As this quote perfectly captures, the guy cried, the whole stadium cried. It is just an unbelievable moment of catharsis. When you factor in the massive physical trauma he overcame, the years of waiting, and the immense pressure of performing as the veteran striker on home soil, it's impossible not to be moved. It provided this stunning, beautiful narrative contrast to the brutal, chaotic tackles that pretty much defined the rest of the 90 minutes. It was the emotional anchor in a total sea of tactical anarchy.
Which brings us to Section 3, discipline breakdown, analyzing the chaos.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly how the match completely fell apart structurally and how the discipline just evaporated after the emotional high of Jimenez's goal. We already discussed Sithole's panicked red card for denying a clear goal-scoring opportunity, but then things actually got violent. Another South African player, Zwane, strikes a Mexican player right in the face off the ball. Completely unnecessary, zero tactical value. The referee missed it initially, but VAR caught it instantly, resulting in the second straight red card. And finally, Mexico couldn't keep their discipline either. In the dying moments, a South African player makes a surging run toward the goal. Mexico's Montes steps up and executes this desperate, cynical tackle to stop the counterattack dead in its tracks. The referee produces the third straight red card of the match. So from a tactical standpoint, we're looking at 3 totally different types of severe indiscipline: a panicked positional error, a violent off-ball strike, and a desperate, cynical challenge.
To summarize this absolute whirlwind of a match, we saw 2 goals scored, a staggering 3 red cards issued, and unprecedented opening day history made. Honestly, as an analyst, it's almost difficult to draw a clean tactical conclusion from a match that finishes with only 19 men left on the pitch. Mexico definitely secured the 2-0 victory, but it came at a massively high cost of energy and discipline.
And that leads us right into Section 4, looking ahead, group stage implications.
Because surviving a chaotic opener is one thing, but advancing deep into the tournament, that requires sustained tactical execution. The real competition awaits in the form of South Korea and Czechia, the other 2 teams making up this group. Mexico might have survived the sheer unorthodoxy and chaos of South Africa, but South Korea and Czechia represent entirely different, much more structured tactical challenges. These are teams that will absolutely exploit the kind of gaps and disciplinary lapses we saw from Mexico in this opening fixture. Mexico's manager has some serious puzzle solving to do before their next match.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder. With an aging, deeply emotional hero in the 35-year-old Raul Jimenez needing to seriously manage his stamina, and an absolutely crucial defender in Montes now suspended due to that late red card, what happens when Mexico faces their real structural test against South Korea and Czechia? Will the raw emotion of this historic, chaotic opening victory carry them